We want more. We want to hate the son of a so much that we can't see straight.
Oh, so Trump derangement syndrome is a disease that did not exist before Donald Trump came down that golden escalator in 2015, which is strange because before Donald Trump became a politician, people loved him. The Clintons actually went to his wedding, but now TDS has become a serious affliction that some people, including one very influential Democrat, says he wants more of. James Carville is a former Democrat strategist, and he is one of the most respected voices in Democrat politics. He helped Bill Clinton get elected in 1992. He's joining us now. James, it's nice to have you on. You made those comments just a few days ago. Is everything okay?
No, it's not. In fact, I've got considerable worst case of Trump derangement syndrome. When I see his two kids engaging in war profiteering, I mean, his daddy actually started a war and his children are trying to sell drones to the U.S. government. And I think back that all four of Franklin Roosevelt's children served in World War II. John F. Kennedy joined the Navy in 1939. When I see that we have fallen soldiers at Dover, that the president refuses to take his hat off and respect the soldiers. No, my Trump derangement syndrome is actually gotten considerably worse since I cut that tape.
Okay, that was 6 days ago. The reason I ask, and you are a smart guy, and I know that you can be a reasonable guy. You were against wokeness before that was popular on the left.
Thank you.
Is rage like that going to help Democrats win elections?
I don't know, but I know I feel it. And if I keep it bottled up in me and people don't know, then it just causes me great angst. I did not do this as a political strategist. I did it as a human being who is outraged with what I see in the country. And as I say, since I've done it, there has been nothing that happened that has only exasperated the situation to me internally. And it's a very legitimate question for you to ask me, is this any electoral benefit at all, of which I'm not sure. I am pretty sure the Democrats are going to win a massive election in November. I think they would have done it with or without my
You might be right.
And I would be happy to call it a screed that I had, but it was the way I felt.
You need time, James. Time helps cure TDS. I'm convinced of that.
It's getting worse. Right now,
you got to give it time.
Who knows?
Plenty of exercise. Make sure you get your steps in. Drink water. That helps. I want to play this soundbite. I've got a question on the other side. This is a podcast last fall. You're talking about anyone who supports Donald Trump. Take a look.
My fantasy dream is that this nightmare ends in 2029. And I think we ought to have radical thing. I think they all ought to have their heads shaven. They should be put in orange pajamas, and it should be marched down Pennsylvania Avenue, and the public should be invited to spit on them. All of these collaborators should be shaved, pajamaed, and spit on.
Okay, so again, it's language like that, if you ask me. That's why Donald Trump is president again.
So let me be clear. I was not talking about people that voted for Trump. I was talking about collaborators like, say, Paul Weiss, the law firm. I was talking about collaborators like, say, off the top of my head, the Disney Corporation. I'm talking about companies and people that know better that were collaborators with this. I certainly was not talking about an average Trump voter. But yes, I do think that the shame, the names of the collaborators that were part of this, and the shame that comes with it, and the shame that will come to their children and their grandchildren and the children of their grandchildren is going to be eternal.
Okay. Interview last month. I thought this was interesting because this is before the primary in Texas. This Texas Democrat who's running for the Senate beat Jasmine Crockett. His name's James Talrico. He's got some really odd positions. Let me just play some of the stuff that he's said.
Our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front. God is both masculine and feminine and everything in between. God is non-binary. Modern science obviously recognizes that there are many more than two biological sexes. In fact, there are 6. Before we go further, I want to acknowledge that our trans community needs abortion care too.
Okay, so trans people need abortion care too. That's a long way from Bill Clinton. You mentioned JFK. That's a long way from John F. Kennedy. James, men cannot have abortions. I know you know that. Does that really work in Texas?
You know, I don't know. I was just a guy that was a hunter, actually was a candidate. He's hunting deer, and he shot a deer at antlers, and actually the deer was a female. There are some people that are born, and I don't obsess on them. I'm really not obsessed with bathrooms or the girls' state track meet, but there's some people that are born male that have female. You know, that happens. It's not frequent, but it's not infrequent, and it's of no concern to me.
James, population of the globe, just over 8.3 billion. Unless something has happened over the last couple hours that I'm not aware of, every single one of those people came into this world because their mother gave birth. I don't know of any men that have given birth.
Well, okay.
That's not controversial, is it?
I don't know. I don't really care. I have a mother. I have a wife. I have children.
I know you don't care, but some of these candidates care.
I just don't think it's not an issue of very much concern to me. I can tell it's of very much concern to you who uses what bathroom. It is of no concern to me.
Let's move on.
Okay, good.
Let me ask you something about Donald Trump.
Sure.
I'm wondering if you're willing to give Donald Trump credit for anything that he's accomplished overseas, ending wars in multiple places, including in Gaza. And I just want to play you this. Here's Hillary Clinton praising Donald Trump after ending the conflict in Gaza.
I really commend President Trump and his administration, as well as Arab leaders in the region, for making the commitment to the 20-point plan and seeing a path forward.
So Bill Clinton also issued a statement praising the president. Does Donald Trump deserve any credit for making peace in many places?
First of all, I did give him credit for getting rid of the penny. I think the man is horrible for the country. Okay, I don't have any. And if you say, well, you got James, look, you got to admit that we.
But does he deserve any credit for making peace?
We cut their oil off. We cut their oil off. We really did. All right. When you're at a thing, which we are, in my opinion, that Trump is horrendous for the interests of the United States, then it's not my. I don't. Do I have to think of something I can give him credit for? Not really.
But does he deserve credit?
Does he love his kids? I guess he does. He's letting them make billions of dollars off of a war he started.
Of course he does.
I guess he loves his kids.
Okay, because that's
war profit.
I think that's where we could find common ground, as conservative America and liberal America. Donald Trump has had at least some accomplishments overseas, and if we can agree on that, James, that is a start. Let me play you Hillary Clinton if she was elected in 2016. Her plans for Iran. Take a look.
I want the Iranians to know that if I'm the president, we will attack Iran. Whatever stage of development they might be in their nuclear weapons program in the next 10 years, during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel, we would be able to totally obliterate them.
So late 1990s, Bill Clinton ordered strikes in Serbia. He was celebrated by the media. Bill Clinton talked about Iran. Barack Obama talked about it. Joe Biden talked about it. Kamala did, not for a while, but she did. Trump actually did it. He took out the Ayatollah. We're 11 days into this. Why the double standard when it comes to Donald Trump?
If you say, well, Bill Clinton stopped the genocide in Bosnia, which he did, congratulations. Sometimes you can have military objectives that are successful, sometimes more often than not. But here lately, they have not been that successful. And I don't believe in just reflexively beating war drums.
Yeah, 11 days.
If the problem was solved,
he takes out an Ayatollah. James, taking out the Ayatollah, are you saying that we should have left
him out and put his son in? What did you do? He's 86 with pancreatic cancer.
But he was an evil man responsible for killing thousands of Americans, and he'd been in power since 1986.
If you were going to get
and he took
Dwight
out the Navy.
Eisenhower in his place, great. You didn't get Dwight Eisenhower. You got his son, who believes in the end of days.
James Carville, appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I'll come back on sometimes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, James Carville.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.